Due to adult content, parental discretion is advised.
To begin.
Are you watching closely?
To begin.
I'm bored.
How to start.
What plaything can you offer me today?
Here's the deal. Just give me the facts.
Just the facts. Only the facts.
Breathe. Focus. Keep it simple.
No doubt. Okay,
welcome to Cock and Bull Minute, a Tristram Shandy story. A podcast in which, eventually, ostensibly, at some point, we will be talking about the 2005 film Tristram Shandy, a cock and bull story, 1 minute at a time.
Good Lord, what is this story all about?
Cock and a bull story.
Here's your host, me, Robert Black.
Lightning round and chaos begins. We're down to 32 movies. Except we're not. The bracket is 32, but we've got 36 titles. Sue me. It's gonna keep going, too. The numbers are never right. My favorite film isn't singular. It's a combination. If you take these 36 titles, put them together, take all the others that I've taken out in the last few episodes, add so many more, add every film I've ever seen, except for the few I've despised. And maybe you know what my favorite is. If you're paying attention, you'll have an idea of what kind of movie I like. It wasn't always like this. As a kid, I loved Star Wars, as I said in a previous episode. I loved science fiction, but cheesy 70s and 80s science fiction. I loved horror films, slasher films. There's none left here. And that's okay. Well, there is a horror film. Is it just one? No, there's a slasher too. I still have Halloween. But I also have Happy Death Day. Should we do this like a lightning round? Force it, break it, feel the pain? Maybe. Group 1. Stories we tell versus the gray. The gray gets me on an emotional level. Stories we tell gets me on a storytelling level. Which one do I want to talk about? I've talked about the gray before. Wrote about it for a week in my blog, groundhogdayproject.com. Enjoy. I also wrote about stories we tell. Am I done with them? No. They're the kind of movies I want in my life. Stories we tell is the only documentary left. I feel like I should keep it. But we gotta do a lightning round. We gotta break things. This is the trouble. We gotta get it down to 16, but do we have to get it down to 16? Or can we leave it where it is? Is 36 enough? Is 36 where we talk about everything? Ooh, what are all these movies? We move a few around, we pair them up, and we talk about them. What's the best pair? That's the real question. What movies do we want to talk about together? Do we talk about stories we tell with the gray? Or do we talk about stories we tell with the disappearance of Eleanor Rigby, her? Or we talk about storytelling. We talk about how you structure a story, how you tell a story, how different versions of the same story tell different versions of people, and how different versions of a movie, in the case of the disappearance of Eleanor Rigby, tell different versions of filmmakers, actors, humans. I should set up these pairings as I go. Give me a moment. Imagine some typing sounds here, some clicks of the mouse as I copy and paste. What goes with the gray? What is the gray about? It's about survival, it's about death, it's about memory. I'm thinking, is there anything else cosmic here that goes well with the fountain? I don't want to just make a director go against himself and put the fountain with Mother, so I think I'll take the fountain with the gray. How many musicals do we have left? Hedwig and the Angry Inch was against the fountain for Group 2, and then we've got Across the Universe and Sing Street. Is that all? Moulin Rouge is gone, right? We lost it in the previous round. Do we go 3? I don't know. I think Hedwig needs to go somewhere else. But against what? It's difficult to think when you don't have to remove them. Where do things fit? Happy Death Day and Halloween, I would suppose. No. Groundhog Day with Happy Death Day. We'll take that. I still didn't figure out the musicals. I think the deal is I use Hearts Beat Loud as if it's a musical, because it's very music-centric and the music does work in a similar way to the way a musical does. But how do they feel? We're not comparing them, they're not competing. So I'd say Hedwig goes with Sing Street. But that doesn't make sense. I don't want to cross the universe with Hearts Beat Loud. Maybe I get the musicals away from each other. Let them play in a different way with the things that make them them. What is Hedwig about? Identity. What else here is about identity? Synecdoche, New York is. Mother is. The Fisher King is. The Spitfire Grill. So many of these, it's like a favorite topic of mine, I guess. Adaptation. The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Into the Wild. Brigsby Bear. Everything is Illuminated. Every one of these. Dave Made a Maze. Zero Effect. You can tell it's the kind of thing I love. The kind of story I like to watch and talk about. So where do we go? How do we decide? Let's narrow it down. What's political? I'm thinking SFW with Ruby Sparks. Two very different politics. Two very different angles, topics, subjects, things. Do they go together? Maybe. Can't decide. Ruby Sparks and Dave Made a Maze make sense. They're both about creative people creating something. But so is Brigsby Bear. You know what I want to put together? Because I put it together once before. Brigsby Bear and Dave Made a Maze. They go together in my mind. I ended the year they came out, by watching them, and watching them. Because it was joy. It was sadness. It was grief. It was figuring out who you are in the face of a world that's bigger than you. Brigsby Bear and Dave Made a Maze. So then what? I don't want to put Synecdoche, New York with the adaptation, because made by the same guy, but they got similar themes. Writing, the creative process. How about we make it weird? What's the weirdest thing that everyone is going to want to watch here? Mother? How about a love story? Are there two? Never Look Away. It's also a creative process movie, and a very different one, but it's also a love story. Behind the Iron Curtain will be Group 5. That's not the title of a film, in case you're paying attention. It's where I'm going to put Everything is Illuminated and Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Are there two stories here of people going off into the world and losing themselves? I could have put the Gray with Into the Wild, but it seems a little on the nose, don't you think? Where do we pair Halloween? They both have to do with the theater, in a way, so I'm going to put Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, with Synecdoche, New York. Where else do we go from here? New background noise. Bring it down a little. Do I hear me? I hear me. There I am. So, we still don't have it all together. Zero Effect is about a detective. Where's there another detective? Is there another detective? No. There's another detective. Kiss, kiss, bang, bang. And Zero Effect. Got it. 9/11 is a really big part of one of these, but not that many others. I'm wondering if another one hinges on an event. Maybe the war with Vietnam? Yeah. Or maybe the war goes with the Spitfire Grill. Isn't that the whole thing with Johnny B? Is that he hasn't been right since he went away to war? Yeah. Feels like a weird fit, but I'll take it. Or maybe the war should be with Stand By Me, because they're both set in the distant past. Well, not distant past, but the mid-20th century. Although really, the war is set in the 70s, isn't it? So's Halloween. So then the war goes with that. No. The war is staying with Spitfire Grill. Stick to your guns. We still need a love story. And I know what it is. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind goes with either Sing Street. I like that. Or Say Anything. Or Say Anything goes with Sing Street. A young boy who knows very much what he wants to be and what he wants to do. And a not as young boy who wants to do nothing, or nothing normal. But doesn't he? He wants to be a kickboxer, because it doesn't involve processing anything, buying anything, or selling anything. I think it goes. Sing Street and Say Anything. And it looks like we're about halfway there. I still don't know what to put with Halloween. Halloween's got a house as a major part of it, maybe Mother. Halloween set in the 70s, Stand By Me set in the 60s, right? Or is it the 50s? I forget. The thematic details alone, fitting with the title, Life as a House, goes with Mother. Halloween still sits there, not sure where to go. The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford has got a bit of melancholy to it. It would have gone well with Synecdoche, New York, but it's already gone. So I'm going to go weird. I'm going to pair it with Into the Wild, which has its own sort of, though it celebrates it, it has its own sort of melancholy. Regret Ex Machina, science fiction. Does it go with about time? Time travel is not really science fiction, though it includes time travel. It's more of a fantasy. Since it's a fantasy, and this could be fun, maybe I'll get Luke to be a guest. I'm going to put About Time with the Fisher King. Then where are we? You want science fiction? Ex Machina? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. How's that for a weird matchup? What's left? Halloween, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, Punch Drunk Love, Hearts Beat Loud, Never Look Away, Stand By Me, Adaptation, Across the Universe. Those last two sound good together, but why? Adaptation is about telling a story in an interesting way. So is Across the Universe, telling a story of the 60s using music from the Beatles. Yeah. Because they both center around children, and they already lost the war, Stand By Me is going with Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. What's left? Hearts Beat Loud, Never Look Away, Halloween, and Punch Drunk Love. It's a weird mix here. I feel like that's the pairing. Punch Drunk Love is about a horrible person, occasionally prone to bits of violence, but he doesn't kill anyone. That goes well with Halloween, I guess. And then Hearts Beat Loud and Never Look Away. Both have heart. Both have art.
Thank you for listening. This has been Cock and Bull Minute, a Tristram Shandy story. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Cock Bull Minute, or find us in the Facebook listeners group, Cock and Bull Pub. Find more content at lemmingdrops.com.